He's right then. All I want to do quickly whilst I'm on here, yeah, that's right. So, how you doing, guys? And welcome back to the Midweek Mumble. So, um, first things first, as the banner says on there, there might possibly be swearing. So, if you are under the age of 18, then you need to click off, please, as this is an over 18s channel. If you're sat next to somebody you don't like swearing, then stick some earphones in. Don't switch off. You'll be fine. Trust me, you'll be fine. So, let's just roll through a couple of people that are already in the building. So we've got Nige Todd's 29, Andy Arab, John Pell, how you doing, Mucker? Andy GSA Tractor, how you doing, mate? Howie, Back Road Tourist, how you doing? Danny, how you doing, Mucker? Hope you're okay. We've also got John McPhee, DHL, how you doing, mate? Up north biker, how you doing? Pecos Paul, Exeter Rider. I'll just stop there for a second. So I hope Exeter, I have already messaged you today, but I hope this week's going all right with your new job. We've also got Time to Go. I always get that name wrong. I always say Time to Go and it's Time to Go, so I do apologise. No Biker, Paul Sparrow, away we go. Fentua. So we're going to bring in our first guest for these this week. So first things first, I've just mentioned him. He's Martin from Fentua. So how you doing, mate? You okay?
Brilliant.
Good,
Thanks.
good.
Very good.
So Martin's recently come back from a cheeky little weekend away. So we'll dive into that in a bit. But
Cool.
Some of the photos you put on, mate, was absolutely mega.
All with the phone.
It was, mate. Honestly, it was. It's really good, really good quality as well. And as I've just mentioned him as well, who he is, Angelo. No, Boyka. How you doing, okay? You okay?
All good, mate. All good.
Excellent. And then we've also got. I do bang on about this bloke, so I'm going to bring him in and try not to embarrass him too much. So I do say it every week about if you listen to podcasts or like the live stream kind of thing, that kind of scenario. I do listen to Simon's podcast nearly every week, and I comment on most of them, how good it is for the production and the people he has on, and how he gets people to talk and open up. So if people don't know, below me is Simon, Real Riders Podcast. How you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for inviting me on.
No problem, mate. No problem at all. Thanks for coming. Like I say, mate, I really appreciate it. So do you just want to tell people quickly, just kind of about your channel, about you, about your bike, what you want to do with your channel?
Sure. Okay, so my name's Simon, obviously, Simon Josie. Originally from New Zealand, now living in Germany, been here about 4 years. Late December 2023, I started a podcast called Real Riders, and I sort of work part-time as a podcast producer, an audio podcast producer, and I wanted to have a go at making my own podcast end to end. And originally I didn't want to host it because no one likes the sound of their own voice. And after about 6 months, I figured out no one was going to want to do this with me. So I thought I'd give it a go. And actually the concept that I originally came up with was quite similar to what Graham's doing with, Haggis Whisperer.
Oh, Haggis Whisperer, yeah.
Yeah, I thought I would just have a list of sort of standard questions and maybe just get people to answer those and not even have my voice on the podcast. And that didn't really work for me. And so I ended up having to sort of learn to be a host. And I've just published 30 episodes now. So about every 2 weeks, I publish an episode. And I try to talk to a wide range of people, as wide a range as possible, from different countries, different, men, women, directors, motorcyclists, amateurs, professionals, basically anyone who'll say yes when I ask them to come on the podcast. And then I've done a couple of special episodes. Most recently, I think was it episode 29, I did something with the mental health motorbike
Mental health
people.
motorbikes. That was good. That was.
Yeah. So
really good.
it was a special episode. Actually, my voice is not really on the episode, just a little bit at the beginning. I went to them in January and said, look, there's this special event on where podcasts basically choose a charity to work with for a special episode. And I sort of had this idea that it would be really nice to have a whole lot of them talking about stories, how they started either working for the charity or how they'd used the services of the charity. And it wasn't really a straightforward kind of interview podcast. It was more like different voices all blended together and a narrator. And so that took about 6 weeks to build, and they were amazing. They were really good interviews, and we edited it all up and produced that. So that was exhausting, but it was really satisfying, and I think they were pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I enjoyed that, the way it was like, it almost, you had like 4 stories for the people who was doing it, and it was like I say, it was quite nice just them just sitting, talking, concentrated, just direct, like there's nothing around them literally just reminiscing and talking about why they got involved and the reasons why they got involved and how it works and everything. It was just really interesting to watch.
And the funny thing is, we did like 6.5 hours of interviews altogether, because you guys will understand this like from raw footage, right? So 6.5 hours raw interview, and we cut that down to 45 minutes. So you can just imagine how much good stuff we left out.
Yeah.
Like one of the main characters, Nikki, she had this amazing story about how she learned to ride a motorcycle in her 40s, and like how she almost ran over her instructor on the first day and stuff. Like, she had these really hilarious stories, but it didn't make sense for the episode, so we cut it out. And Paul, the main guy, he got chased by this motorcycle gang once down the road, and he was like kind of terrified. And then it just turned out they wanted him to pull over to say thanks very much for the services that he was providing for them. And he was like, oh, okay, don't be so intimidating next time, guys. But again, we didn't include that because it just didn't fit the episode. But yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff left on the floor there. And I guess that the last thing I should say is, I do ride a bike. So I'm in Germany, as I mentioned, and since I was about 18, I really wanted a BMW. So when I came here, I got a BMW, and it's an old man bike. It's an RT, but hell, I'm an old man. And as I said, if I'd bought a GS, my wife would have laughed at me because I would have never have taken it off road. So I stuck with the RT, and I love it. I mean, it's twice the bike that I'll ever be. Its capabilities are far more than I am as a rider, but I love it. And, off-roading is a real problem in Germany. You basically can't ride off-road. So, there's lots of interesting places around here in Germany, and I'm very close to France and Belgium and Luxembourg. And so even within a day, I can do amazing trips just around here. So I do ride, yes, most importantly.
That's good. That's good. Like I say, I don't know whether you get this, but I've said it a few times on my live, how kind of difficult it is to get people on. And you send that many emails out to people, and maybe out of the 10 emails you'll send out, you may get 3 or 4 back, and out of them 3 or 4, there's probably one that's slightly interested, who's willing to do it. And you're trying to find these people, or especially me, because I'll watch channels that have got 10 subs to Bruce, who's got 100,000 subs. So, I don't really look at it and say, oh, I'm not watching that because he's only got 10 subs. It don't bother me. If you've got 10 subs, if the content's good and what you're doing, where you're going, and your audio's good, it don't matter. It's intriguing to everybody, but you kind of, the constant questions, you're like, do you fancy coming on? This is it. Have a look at it. Tell me what you feel. Is that something that you'd like to do? Is it, it's not an interview. It's just 3 or 4 lads sat around having a bit of a chat about motorbikes or different stuff that we do. And like I say, it's at the minute, like I say, I've sent out quite a few emails, which I do every week. But yeah, it's just it's getting more and more difficult for to get people on. It's just.
I heard a funny story about that, and I know I've been talking a lot, so I'll shut up in a second. But I heard, if you don't know who Conan O'Brien is, he's a comedian. He was a television show, late night show in the US, right? Like I've always liked Conan. He's a really funny guy. But he was having an interview with, I can't remember who it was, but this like big radio DJ, and they sat down and they talked about podcasting, and they said even at their level, the biggest hassle they have is getting people to come on. So even, at our level, at your level, Brian, at my level, and I'm very small, all the way up to those really high guys, getting people to come on and commit is just a universal problem in podcasting.
Yeah. It like
It's
I
a
say,
bit different for them, isn't it? Though, because the people who want to go on their shows because they want to promote something, so they're usually going on that because they have a book coming out or they have a series coming out or whatever.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's often around timing, and often those people. Not everyone wants to come on a podcast, and sometimes they're being pushed to do it by their sort of promoters or their publishers to push something like a book or a film or something they're in. Whereas I think when you get people who are really enthusiastic, it's like, I don't care, I'll come on and talk. It's like me, when Brian says, hey, come on, I'm like, absolutely. I might be the most boring person in the world, but I know how much he values someone just saying, yes, I'll be there. You want me to be there, I'll be there. And I may never get invited back, which is fine, but if I've helped them at this one point in time just to say, yes, I'll be there, I know how much a big difference, because I have the same thing all the time. I'm always chasing people.
I have to say that I'm purely here tonight to promote my forthcoming dramatic episode of riding in a straight line across the desert on perfectly smooth tarmac. So people will watch me risking my life riding in the straight line in America.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, like for Martin, if people have got something to promote or they're doing something and they want to come on here, you're like, sound, it's, I've only got, like, on this channel, I've only got 150 subs, but all I want to do is kind of get people on here, so people want to come on, and that's like, I'm quite fortunate. Both of these guys have messaged me saying, "I'll come on next week," and I'm like, "Sound, you wouldn't, unless you do it, you don't realise how much that helps you." Having people message you saying, "I can jump on this week," and then you're like, "Sound, I can ask one person. If that one person does want to come on, I can say, right, already I've got on this person and this person. If you want to do a bit of research, then you can do, or just watch one of these lives, and this is the format. It's really relaxed. It's not a question time or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? I mean, your podcasts are really relaxed as well, but you kind of when Graham does his, they're really relaxed, but it's a set of questions. I quite like the fact it's a bit raw. It's a bit. It can go off topic, and it hasn't got to be solely about bikes. It can be about anything at all, a place where you've been, or a video you've watched, or a video you've watched in an area with that you've had interest. So yeah, it's like I say, I'm quite fortunate because I've got a group of about 8 or 9 lads that jump on every single week, and yeah, you do get like sometimes you may get a little bit repetitive, but it's having them lads that in the background that are constantly coming on that don't mind coming on as and when they want to, if they can. So it's just a massive help. Like, and if anybody's watching and or listening to this afterwards, and I appreciate it, honestly, I really do appreciate it, because it is, like I say, you to sit here and to get like even like Exeter Centurion last week, to message him and then like literally the same day email back, yeah mate, I'll pop on. You're like, thank God for that. You know what I mean? I've got somebody else on there. You can kind of spread that net a little bit further then. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was just it is quite difficult. Everybody thinks it's easy. It's not.
we know Simon's bike, the RT. know your bike, Peaky. Everyone obviously knows that. But what's your main bike, Angelo? You may have said before when I saw you on the previous one, but I can't remember.
I've got two bikes. So the one you see in the photo behind is a Himalayan, the old 411 Himalayan. And my main bike, I would say, is a Kawasaki Z1000 SX. Cool. Ninja 1000 SX, as you may be known elsewhere in the world.
Excellent.
Has that got luggage? Have you got luggage on that as well, on the SX?
Yeah, I originally had a top box on it, but I try not to use a top box too much now. I got myself a pair of secondhand panniers that I bought off eBay on the cheap. They were locked, so I had to drill out the locks. When I drilled out the locks, I actually found out that inside they had the little bags, the little like luggage bags inside. That was a bonus. I didn't know that they were there. And then I just got new barrels, put them in, and set them to the same key as my bike. So that was a single key. We do the bike and the two panniers. So that's the result. And I tend to use them more now.
I mean, I've just bought a complete set of Krieger stuff off a lad, second hand, but they're like absolutely brand new with the Givy frame as well. So it's like the soft luggage. So I'm just waiting for them to arrive at the minute. So I'm like a kid at Christmas, waiting for these parcels, to come. Because so basically, what he'd done is he'd gone out, literally bought to the wall.
There we go.
He's bought all the literally every box, every bag, everything, every litre. He's bought 2 litres of everything. So I'm waiting for these bags to rock up now. So it's probably going to come, and it's going to be like a car wrapped up in cardboard, going to be delivered. But
I had a pair of Krieger. I had a Krieger 10 and a Krieger 20 that I used to use on my Ninja 650 that I had before this. The problem is this bike doesn't really have any places where you can put the Krieger tie-ups in. Yeah. So I tend not to use it. I used it a couple of weeks ago when I went off-roading on the Himalayan. So you put them on the Himalayan. But I basically sit in a box in my garage, and every now and again I get calls to use it.
Yeah, like I say, it's a nice colour as well. Is that it? It's almost like a turquoise, isn't it? It's really nice. That is.
Yeah, it's called Storm Cloud Blue. It's an odd blue Kawasaki. They're usually green or black, or green and black. But they did it for that 1 year, and when I was shopping around for it, I wasn't going to go for it. I said, no, it doesn't quite suit. My wife and daughter said that you should definitely get that one, and I'm really glad I did. You don't see many of them. Although funny thing, the first time I went out for a ride on this bike, I bought it just before lockdown, so I was itching to go out and ride it. And the first time I actually went out for a nice long ride, as I was on the road, another one went the other way.
that's like BMs, that is, mate. It's like a BM.
Yeah.
So how are you finding the 1300 then, Mart?
It is exceeding everything I expected. I know it sounds like I'm a fanboy, but it really is. I mean, I went to work. I went and did some work on it yesterday. I thought, oh, bollocks to the car. It's so comfortable, and it's got the whatever it is, radar cruise control. I blasted along the A14 with the cruise set at 80 miles an hour. Just, in a nice bubble of quiet air, no buffeting, listening to the radio, just, heated jacket on, heated grips, heated seat, floating along the bumps. Just brilliant. But then when you get to have some fun later on the B road, you put it into Dynamic Pro and it tightens up. Even with the panniers on it, just hunkers down.
Yeah.
It is an outstanding bit of kit.
I must admit that Dynamic Pro on the BMWs, if you want to get a shift on, if you want to get a groove on, you can put that. You can, so on my setting, I've literally stiffened. I've gone into it manually and stiffened everything completely up. So it's like a race bike. It's rock solid. But you can well, Martin knows you can proper throw that bike about. Then when you even with just a back box on, you can absolutely chuck it about, and it's very, very capable. I mean, I've only got the 1250, mine's got the 1300, which is supposed to be even better than the 1250. So, you know, like I say, a lot.
Well, compared to my 1250, the ride is better. Definitely a better ride. I don't know how they've made it better. It was already very good, but it's definitely a better ride. I've got the auto shift assist, the automatic, and I'm absolutely loving it. And mine works really smoothly. It didn't for a start. It was quite jolty when I first picked it up. But now I've done 1,300 miles. It's really smooth on the gear changes. And if I'm starting to crank it, I put it in manual.
Does it learn? Is that the one that learns you?
I don't know what it does, but it's got better as I've ridden it. And it changes in the mode. So if you put it in Dynamic Pro, it holds the gears longer. But basically, when I'm in Dynamic Pro, and if I'm on a twisty road, I put it in manual anyway. And I change gear manually.
How do you do it,
man? Is it better doing it manually?
Is it like a
same as you do on any bike? It's just a quick shifter.
Oh, it's just a quick shifter.
No, it's the standard. Yeah, it's just your foot, like a standard quick shifter. So you get the best of both.
All right, because
you should ride one.
Dave, I'm actually waiting for BMW now to let me have a go on the one in Wolverhampton. Every time I go in to try and get it, it's like, yeah, it's booked out, mate. It's booked out, mate. So I'm like, oh,
bring them up.
7. But I'm gonna have a look at it definitely, because when I spoke to Dave from Really Good TV, Dave Perry, he was really struggling with it. He says because it's not learning how he's riding. I says, well, if you're compensating how you're riding for it to learn, it's not going to learn how you're riding. It's going to think that that's how you ride normally. Where if you just ride and kind of, if it's not nice, you know, it dropping a gear or up in a gear in a corner. But if you ride like that purposely, it's going to learn then, and it's going to realise that you're halfway through a corner, or when that throttle's open halfway like that, not to change.
I think the way to ride it is if you're riding, as I spend a lot of the time on the GSA, it's about going swiftly, but in a relaxed way, comfortable, not dangerously. You're making good progress, and that's fine in auto. But if you want to actually start really going for it, stick it in manual and ride it manually. That's the way to use that bike. Not to use the auto if you're going to go for it, because you haven't got fault. The bike's never going to be quite as good at changing gear as you can as a rider. I don't think.
No.
You know, choosing exactly that right moment. But if you're not in a hurry and you're just chilling out, auto, perfect. Every time.
Yeah. I mean, there was a question then asking Simon what's his channel name, but it's the Real Riders Podcast.
Yeah. So it's because it's a podcast, and because it follows the podcast standard, it actually gets distributed as an audio podcast through all the usual podcast networks, so that if you listen to Apple iTunes or Apple Podcasts, I think it's called now, or Spotify, you can find it there, or Pocket Cast. But I did create a YouTube channel. I think there's only 79 subscribers there. So I do put it out as an audio podcast on YouTube now as well. Just a fixed image, nothing fancy, no video. So there's all sorts of different ways to find it, but you just need to look for Real Riders, and you'll find it.
Yeah, I will put once I've done this, I will put all the links to the channels in the description, as I do after every live I do, just so that obviously I usually don't do it before, just in case people don't come on, just in case something happens. There might be an emergency or not feel very well or whatever. At least then, you know, they tagged in a video that they are on. But usually I like I say, I usually chuck it on afterwards. But yeah, hold on. Noob's on it. Look at Noob on it. He's straight on it. His finger on the pulse.
So, on the keyboard, mate. On the keyboard.
Yeah. So But yeah, it's just I just think them new BMWs. Simon, have you read one? Yeah, have you rode one of the new BMWs or not? The new 1300s.
No, I had a guest come on once, and they said they'd own 30 bikes, and I said, "Oh, have you got a problem with commitment?" Because I just have one bike, and I don't want the distraction or I'm sort of committed to my bike, and I'm so happy with it. I just don't think about. I'm not one of these people who's like constantly thinking, "Oh, what do I want to get next?" or whatever. So I've only had about 5 bikes my whole life, and I'll probably ride this one into the ground, or it'll ride me into the ground one way or the other. I mean, the only thing I'd do away with it is probably as I get a bit older, I want something lighter, because it is like a heavy bike. You know, it's 260, I think, plus.
Yeah.
It's a big bike, and I can see for a lot of the riding I do around small roads around Belgium and stuff like that, where the roads are a bit shitty actually, but it's interesting countryside. Something much smaller and lighter would probably be a good idea. But no, and honestly, I mean, like how I'm in Germany, I speak a little bit of German, but not much, and just everything's so difficult in Germany to go and organize stuff like this. It's just like I can do without the hassle. It's just too difficult to go in and say, "Oh, can I ride this bike?" And just if they don't fully understand you, you don't fully understand them, and next minute you've bloody bought a new bike or something, you know.
Yeah, like I say, I think like for me, I never wanted to go down the route of being I wouldn't say a review channel, but because like I say, right, if I ride a bike, then I probably won't do a review on it. I'll probably just do like a first impression ride, really, and just say this is what I found. This is how, for me personally, this is how it was. But it's like the BMW 1300. I've heard that much about it, how good it is. It's kind of interested me of the amount of people who initially says I don't like it to now who've actually gone and bought one and saying it's probably the best bike they've ever owned, even though 8 months ago when it first come out they were saying that's horrendous, they've ruined it, the brand's gone mad, and it's all square what they all doing, but like I say, now there's that many people buying it, and there's that many people going to the GSA. Sorry?
People always react like that at first, don't they? And I remember when I went out for my test ride on it and I filmed it, and I did exactly what you said you don't want to do. It's fine, do what you want. But I did my test ride on it and I put a video out, and you were one of the very adamant there in that video. No, mate, just get a 1250 GSA. Just get a 1250 GSA. I remember very vividly how completely opposed to it you were.
Yeah.
You come around.
Honestly, when it first came out, mate, I was like, that is absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. And it didn't even look like it had come from the same factory. Do you know what I mean? And I was just like, I genuinely, I don't like it. I didn't like it. And it wasn't until I saw one in the flesh, I was like, you know what? That's actually really nice.
Do you know,
No.
I was coming back from Ipswich, if you know the A14.
Yeah.
Yesterday at 5 o'clock, and the traffic was queuing both carriageways. And there's me on the GSA, and you know how wide it is from the front. And I've got these bags on the front as well. And then I've got the panniers, the absolutely huge panniers, which are brilliant. You can put a whole helmet with the GoPro and everything on. It fits in easy. In both sides, even the exhaust side, I can fit my helmet in, which is brilliant. So I'm going along, and I think I don't care. It's not a big gap. I'm going through it. And you could see the cars and lorries way ahead of me moving out of the way, because they could see this massive bike coming down the centre. They probably thought it was a three-wheeler.
What's this three-wheeler doing? Could be down the middle.
It's got, it's a bloody nutter coming down the centre in this car on 2 wheels. Because you've got the Predator light, haven't you, in the middle? The Predator sort of, I call it the Predator light. And then you've got the two little, in the front of the fuel tank, you've got these 2 extra lights. And then you've got these bags sticking, wider than the screen here. It's just, cars really do see you coming up behind them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
like
and lorries. They were parting
say,
lanes for me. Brilliant.
like I say, I just think for me, I like the look of it. I like the fact it is so big. That's why I went for the GSA, because I like the road presence. Do you know what I mean? I never actually thought when I bought the GSA I'd actually take that off road, if I'm being brutally honest. But when I did, I quickly realised why you don't take them off road, because of how heavy they are. They're just an absolute beast to pick up on your own. And after the third or fourth time, you get to a point where you're just like, I can't carry on doing this. I'm going to have to just stand here and wait till somebody comes past, or somebody turns around and comes back to give me an hand to pick it up, because even without the full tank, they're not heavy to pick up off the floor. It's unreal. It's absolutely unreal. And you can't comprehend how tiring that is, constantly just picking it up. Just, you like I did it when I went off roading. I was only at one point I picked it up twice within about 150 meters, and I was just like, I'm shattered already. I'm absolutely knackered at doing this already. So, but that like I say, that's one of the reasons why, like, if I went for another bike, I mean, I've got that 450 at the minute, but I'd really, really like something like a CF motor, the CF motor 450, where it's got a decent road presence, it's decent on the road, and it's good off road. For the stuff that I'm going to be doing, I don't need a big 450 CRF kind of WRF big off road enduro bike. I don't need it. It's kind of, it looks the part and all the rest of it, but I've got to get to the trails. For me to get to any trails round by me, it's a 45-minute drive, and I've got to get there. And like I say, them bikes are just not built. They're just not built. They're just not comfortable enough to sit on your bike for 45 minutes going down a motorway, or in my case, a dual carriageway for 40 minutes. I'm gonna be in tatters by the time I get there.
Yeah, I mean, if it's that long, I mean,
I've got.
I did go here in Essex on the Himalayan, and it's not too long, it's fine. But the first time I took it off road, I went with Hippodromes down by Merrimack Rikers. And so to get from where I am, it's kind of halfway around the M25. That's not the Himalayans' happy place at all. Maybe the new one, but it was nice when I was there and on the trails. But getting there and back was a monumental pain in the backside.
Yeah, I must admit, I've actually been looking at the Himalayan 450s.
Yeah,
I've actually been looking at them, because I think that's going to be road orientated enough for me to get there, but the level of off-roading I'm going to be doing, it'll probably cope with it better than the bike I've got at the moment, because
it's remarkably good off-road.
Yeah,
it's remarkably good off-road.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be Adam Reedman to take that off road with the tires on it, because it's massive. And like I say, I at the minute I ain't got that skill set. I've not got that skill set at the moment. So, I'm like I say, I'm actually considering selling it and buying something a bit more road orientated ish.
I think it'd be, yeah. I mean, I've ridden the Himalayan off road a couple of times, and or down, byways. And very comfortable. I just sat in the seat. I didn't stand up, and it potted along really nicely. I don't think it'd probably be any good for a real hardcore enduro rider, but for just enjoying a green lane comfortably and safely, probably ideal.
Yeah,
you learn a lot, and it's very forgiving. It's because it's got that long stroke engine. It really tractors through, so you don't have to be mindful of the revs. You can just be in second gear all day long. And you would just go through everything. You would just keep going and chug
along. Yeah.
Like I say, I think I just need something a little bit more road orientated to get me there in a little bit more comfort. Because, like I say, I've read that 450 now, and you're just like, oh my days. I literally went up and down the road, went around, I come back, my biceps are absolutely killing me. I'm literally holding on for dear life. And the the seat's like sitting on a piece of tarmac. You know what I mean? The seat's like a white strip in the road. That's the seat. I'm just like, mate, I'm sitting. You know what I mean? I'm an old man now. I'm 48. You know what I mean? I'm sitting on my nuts. My arse is hurting. I'm getting cramp in my hip. I'm like, I need something more comfortable.
Either 450, man. Why didn't you try the 411?
About £10 on Amazon. You can get padded pants.
Oh.
They work well.
I at that stage. I'm not at your stage yet. When I'm weighing myself, Mart. Padded pants.
I think I said that. Yeah, padded pants.
I at that stage of my life, yeah. But
nah, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
If you've got something like the CRF 300, that you basically sit on an ironing board riding the thing. But if you've got padded underpants, you can actually do, maybe 30, 40 miles in a stint. Not too badly, but so it's not too bad.
Yeah, like I say, I'm gonna look at the. I'm gonna look in. I think the one I keep going back to is the Vosges 300 and the Himalayan. I think it's 411. I think it is possibly 411. But I do like the look of them 450s. So I'm just like, I'm gonna give another rider one. The Vosges was really nice, but it's just too tall.
What about the Cove? Chinese
the
one.
Cove, again, the really nice bikes, but them just fucking tall, really, really tall.
Yeah.
I've only got a 29-inch inside leg, and it's I don't know how tall you guys are, but it's when you're a short arse like me, it's difficult to when you're off road and you've got to start paddling, and you can't even touch the floor. You're struggling from day dot. I mean that BMW, that's a factory lowered bike, and I still struggle to flat foot or even get my ball in my foot on that. And like I say, I've got to. It's like I'm on a racetrack. I have to move my arse off one side of the chair so I can get my foot properly.
I wouldn't be surprised, Brian, if you got a Himalayan like Angelo, that you don't actually end up riding it a lot more than just down trails, and actually choosing it against the BMW for pottering around and quiet lanes and sunny afternoons. I wouldn't be too surprised.
You want to go out exploring and getting lost.
A few people. Yeah, that sort of thing.
The Himalayan's brilliant for, like, if I ever have to go into town or for a quick trip into town or commuting, the Himalayan's brilliant. And if I want to get lost down a country lane, the Himalayan's perfect, because if you get lost and you want to turn around, it's a lot easier to turn around than this thing. And if you go down a shitty road, it will be fine with it. This is for touring when I know it's going to be nice roads, right? I want to go down to the Route Napoleon or do some Vosges mountains. This is it. Or touring Scotland. This is it. But if you're just going to potter around, the Himalayan's absolutely brilliant. It's a bag of fun.
Yeah. Like I said, I just want something. Just so there's a few factors. So it's got to be reliable. It's got to be automatic, because that 450's kickstart, and since when I broke my pelvis, I can't raise my foot up high enough on it to get the down pressure to kickstart it. So I can kickstart it, but it's just after like 3 or 4 big kicks that I'm having to get off the bike, because my hip is absolutely killing me. One side of my hip and my pelvis is absolutely killing me. So I'm just like, I need an electric start. And it's got to go off the button every single time. The height, obviously, is another one. Comfortability is another one. Other one is standing up as well. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously you're going to be standing up off road. So there's a few things there that I've got to look at. But
do you what you don't want to do is sorry.
No worries. I was just going to say, do you know Joe Ryan's channel? Because he's ridden
Joe Ryan's
Himalayas all around Australia, New Zealand, and actually up into Nepal as well, and or India. And he's on all sorts of different ones, but he just goes everywhere on Himalayans.
Yeah.
Or Royal Enfields, I should say, maybe more accurately.
Yeah. The one that actually got me onto the Himalayan was when Adam Reedman did it. When he went to the Himalayas, and he went and did it, and he don't mess about on bikes, does he? He absolutely he destroys bikes. Do you know what I mean? You can see him. He's having a laugh. He's pushing that bike to its limits. So, you know, if that bike, when he hands that bike back and he goes, "Thank you, that was really good," you're like, "Sound, you've got to listen to people like that. You got to listen to."
Well, Richie Boots did
When
wonders
I
for early days, right? And then I think that series that Adam Reman did in Indianapolis was absolutely brilliant as well.
Yeah, mega. I was going to say more. Sorry.
I was going to say when I before I purchased the little Honda 300, it was a toss up between the Himalayan 450 and the Honda. I spent several evenings thinking which am I going to get the most out of. The Honda won in the end, but it was close. It was a close call between the two bikes.
Yeah.
Well, sorry,
Basically
just
what I
on the Honda, there is a channel that I've been following for a long time. Is it Dewey Rides? So he's an American guy from Portland, and he's traveling. He traveled all the way down to the tip of South America, and now he's traveling back on a CRF. So there's absolutely that thing can do miles on the road for sure.
Yeah.
You just go a bit slower. It's as simple as that.
I'm not a fast rider, so yeah, I ride slow. So that's
Can I offer everyone a tip?
tip.
Don't take the bike
Don't
in my
yell
picture
us now.
here. This one. Don't go off road with that, because I was I was up in I was up at the. If you've heard of Joshua Tree, I went up to the Joshua Tree National Park, which is a desert, and I'm going along, and there's a sign that said next, pointing to the right. I could see a little hut. I could see some other people down this track. Well, I didn't realise it was a track, and it said geology route. I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. Be some interesting rocks to see. So I just turned in on that Electroglide, which weighs, I think it's 380 kilograms or something. It's a lot. And of course, it's just gravel. It's not very wide. Oh, shit. It says 4-wheel drives only. Let's be trying to turn that thing round without dropping it on gravel. It was it's not good. You've got to have perfect tarmac.
Yeah, I'm just reading some of the comments here about, because obviously some of these guys know how I ride, so that it's nice to have other people that their kind of comments coming to me, so you can read them and see what you think of them. Do you know what I mean? And so, like Extra's saying there about, you know, the Honda's got to be, you know, revving his nuts off basically. But the Himalayan's got a bit more legs, so you know that like I said, that's nice to have back, so you can, when you're looking at stuff, you know what you're doing.
I did a dual review with another YouTuber called Helmet Head a couple of years ago, where we compared his Himalayan. We compared his Himalayan against my 300L, so we went down some trails. Realistically, he's a better rider than I am on trails, and so that probably wasn't that fair enough. But once we got some tarmac, then we did an actual drag race, and the Honda was quite a bit quicker off the line. But down the trails, I would say that it wasn't that much in it, really. It really wasn't. And there's just, as people are saying, you don't have to probably rev the Himalayan. Where the Honda, you probably do need to get it over 5,000 revs for it really to start to pick up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like I say, I've got to scratch that off-road itch. I've got to scratch it, because at the minute it's just annoying me. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna sell this 450, because like I say, it's not the bike that I wanted. It's not what I need at the moment. So I'm gonna sell that, and then, like I say, get something like a Himalayan, like a 411 or a 450. That's probably more suited to actually what I need to do and how I need to ride at the moment. And like I say, getting forwards and backwards to the trails, because I've not got I haven't got a trailer. I haven't got nothing like that. So I've got to ride the bike there. So it needs to be, usable on our off road as well.
Where's that itch coming from, Brian? Have you figured out yourself why you're so attracted to the off-road riding now? Because I don't know much about your background, but I know you used to race on the track and stuff like that, right? So
I just think it's the channels I'm watching at the minute. Everything I seem to be watching, it's kind of all geared to kind of adventure and riding, and like that's the kind of tours and some of the stuff I want to do. Oh, yeah, I want to do the road riding and the tours on the roads, but I also would like to be able to, jump on a bike and go and do a bit of the TET and, go be able to see more of the countryside and better viewers and, kind of experience the land really, rather than just riding sat on a motorway or sat on the A38 or, on the B500 round Germany, around the Black Forest or something. If you can get out and be able to go and do a bit of the TET, and like I see some of these amazing countrysides and wilderness in its original form, then that's what that. Like I say, it's just something that everything I seem to be watching is that way. Is that whole kind of really light packing, camping, getting out. Oh, what's that trail? Let's go and have a look. Where obviously with the bike that I've got at the moment on the road, I'm comfortable.
Perfect
with
bike
it.
for you. Perfect bike for you then, Brian, would be a Goldwing. I've seen them taken off road and they do fantastic.
That's heavier than my GS. But yeah, it's just one of them. That's just the stuff I'm watching at the moment, and I just want to experience it. That's what I did with racing. I did, I bought my motorbike, went out. A couple of lads asked me about track days. I was like, I've never heard of them, which I hadn't. I was like, I never heard of them. When I did a couple of track days, this lad was like, "You're really quick. You want to try racing?" And I was like, "Hey, just start racing." Next thing you know, I've got a van, and me and my mate are racing, and then we start doing endurance racing, and everything just kind of evolved into the racing side of it. And like that's what's happening now. Because of my breaking my pelvis, I've stopped racing. I've gone down the old, let's have a look, see if I like touring, which I do. I absolutely love touring. But now that's evolving. I kind of want to evolve the touring. I want to do a little bit of off-roading. I'm not at the level where I'm like Adam Reedman, who can just like go right A to B. I'm going that way over that mountain. That's me done. I need to prep a little bit more than that. But yeah, it just fascinates me as well. Just a different riding style, a different skill to learn on the bike, something completely different. So
around where I live, there are an awful lot of byways where one can legally ride. And I'm a member of I can't remember what it is, trail or something, where it shows you what roads are closed, what trails are TRF, that's it, yeah. So, so I'm a member of that. So you get access to their maps to see what's open, what's closed, comments from other riders and drivers. My problem is not where you can go. I mean, the nearest byway is 200 yards from where I live. So it's not as if we've got to go very far. I've got no friends. I've got loads of motorcycle friends. I'm always out riding in groups all the time. But they only ever touch tarmac. None of them are willing to come down a trail with me. They're just not interested. And my issue being is if I do come a cropper and break something, and you've got no one there to help.
I thought the whole point of the TRF was that there will be people that you live near to who would also be going off road, and you could kind of go together. Because you're right, you don't want to go alone.
All as I found with the TRF, when I joined, there was a problem with the site. So when I joined, you couldn't get onto this green map or whatever it was called. And then for the money, all I got access to was a couple of Facebook groups, and then I got put into like 6 WhatsApp groups. And I'm already in I'm in WhatsApp groups with the army. I'm probably in 20 WhatsApp groups, And then they've added me into another 6 WhatsApp groups. And I was like, I didn't want that. What I wanted is the routes and how to get how you find him. You know, that'd be more beneficial to people, to show people actually how you find the byways, how you realise and work out what are byways. So because you've got to plan and plot your own routes anyway, unless you're going to meet people. If you want to meet people, then join the TRF or Glass or something like that. If that's what you want to do. But if you want to go and ride a section, for example, you've got to go and plot it yourself anyways. So you might as well go and learn it rather than just meet a group of people and just follow somebody, not knowing where you're going, how long you're going to be, where's the end, where's the middle, when you're stopping, where the fuel point is. At least doing it on your own and learning yourself. The ordnance survey maps. You're learning yourself a new skill by map reading, and 2, you know what you're doing. You've planned the route, so you know where your start point is, what your middle point is, where your nearest fuel point is. You know, if you can read a map.
I just want to sit back and be shown. I just follow. That's it. I'm not a leader. I'm a follower. You figure all that shit out.
You're a sheep, not a shepherd.
I'll bring my bike and a packed lunch. That's it.
So I've just gone online and looked. Yeah, one I'm a member of is Smart Trail. So it's part of All Terrain UK. Smart Trail, which is their mapping, and that is really good for seeing what trails are open, what's legal, what isn't, if there's any deep mud or whether it's overgrown and all those sort of things. So it uses Ordnance Survey maps built in. So you're not just relying on Ordnance Survey maps, you're actually got up-to-date information from people that are riding those trails and then leaving comments. And I think it's about £25 a year I pay for membership. So
that's decent then.
I just need some friends to go with, and then I'm.
Let's all say because Martin's got no friends to go off road.
I've got loads of tarmac.
Everyone's left it because you got bought 1,300. No one wants to be your friend.
Cheeky bugger.
Yeah, no, I'm quite lucky that I found. I have a mate who I've been touring with, and he's in the TRF, and he's got some mates as well. So he took me along. It was really enjoyable. Obviously, I fell off once, but yeah, it was good.
Do you fall off as much as me, Angelo?
No, I fell off once.
I'm off with more than I'm on it.
But once is all I can afford to fall off on the Himalayan because the bar's already bent.
So that was more the problem as well, because when I went with the lads and I said to him, I says, mate, I'm dropping a 20 grand bike here. Do you know what I mean? And all these parts are going to need fixing. And it might sound daft, but you know, if you've got a 3 grand, 4 grand, 5 grand bike, yeah, it's still a lot of money, but you're not as tentative with it. And that's what my problem was. I was just really worried about dropping the bike and proper causing some damage. You know, if you rip the side casing off, that ain't just a couple of £100. You know what I mean? That's going to cost, you know, probably £1,000, 1,200 quid. Where, you know, you do that on, for example, a Himalayan. Yeah, it probably might be the same amount of money, but you're probably getting a whole new engine for that, not just a side case. So, you know, it's been able just to drop it, get it, and pick it up yourself. That's the main thing for me. Picking the bike up yourself, because I just couldn't do it. After, like I say, 4 times, I was like, sod this. I ain't doing it no more. I'm knackered. I'm absolutely chinned. I was absolutely sweating me row out. I don't realise where I was going, so I was like, right, I'm gonna put my heated gloves on. I'll put my heated gillet on just in case it gets chilly, mate. I was sweating my row out. I reckon I lost about 3 stone on that ride. I was sweating, sweating like mad.
Can I show this photo?
Yeah.
So the thing to note here is that the wheel's pointing straight ahead.
Look at the handlebars. I thought they were ape hangers.
Yeah. So yeah, it one little fall, very low speed, and that's what it did. So yeah, those are getting changed very soon.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're taking it off road. You're scratching that itch. You're doing it, ain't you? Do you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying.
Because I originally bought it to commute into London, but now that's not happening anymore. I'm working from home. So now it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go little country lanes and I'm going to do a bit of off-roading.
Yeah. I mean, where I'm working at the moment in a place called Swinnerton, it's an army barracks which the military use for like training. It's a big, massive training facility, and there's actually a section around there that the train the drivers on the vehicles to go up and down the hills and through the mud patches and all this kind of stuff. So all I was thinking, I need to bring my bike here. That's what it is. I need to come on my bike one day, and then on my dinner hour, I'll just go out on my bike for a few hours. I'm just gonna go and check over the back. I'll be a couple of hours. What, Brian? Why you got your work stuff on? Why you got bike stuff? Well, what I thought, it's like I say, I'm definitely looking at another bike. I'm gonna sell that 450 and, like I say, get something like a Himalayan, 100%. So, but right then, lads, we've been on 56 minutes. So we'll give it 5 minutes and start looking at wrapping up because, like I say, I usually do an hour on a Wednesday. I think that's enough. So, who's at the weekend? Anybody at the weekend?
Friday and Saturday.
Is that on your Harley or is that 1300?
Friday, I'm planning to do a really long day out in Lincolnshire on the XR, probably about 350 miles. And then Saturday will be I'm leading a ride for Harley. So that'll keep me busy.
Fair play. Noob, you out?
Should be good. Weather's looking.
Yeah, I'm planning to be out on Saturday, meeting with an old mate of mine, old diving buddy, but now he's also a motorcycle owner. Halfway around, we have to go the other way of London towards Abingdon, nearby. We're going to meet at a cafe, just have a chinwag, catch up, maybe go for a ride, then come home.
We're just. I think I'm going to meet Jay Saturday. Have breakfast either Saturday or Sunday, and then luckily for us, 2 weeks time, we'll be in Scotland. So there's myself, Jay, Joe, and Andy Harrop, Phil from My Moto, and then we're going up into Scotland and meeting a load of the Scottish lads up there, a few of the Scottish vloggers, and having Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and coming back Monday. So I'm absolutely really looking forward to that. We went last year and Graham did just a planned route for us. And the only thing I said to him, I said, I just don't want to go where every other biker goes that come up to Wales, come up to Scotland. I said, I want to go to like your local places where the Scottish lads go, not where the tourists go. I want to go where the and the 2 days was absolutely phenomenal, absolutely brilliant. So looking forward to going back up because it's quite nice because I'll plan the trips for my lads. So it's quite nice to kind of plan the Friday.
You know what?
And that's it. I can just leave it. Like it's up to Graham now. This is your bag.
You know what? Obviously Simon's not been in the UK to experience the weather we've had for weeks on end of beauty. But now you're going to Scotland in 2 weeks' time. The weather's going to be fucked, isn't it? You're going to fuck it right up for us.
Yeah,
the rain.
That patch that patch that I've had to put on them rucker stuff's going to be tested to the max. I bet.
Steroids.
Yeah. I'm gonna need waders. I'm gonna need a patch. I'm gonna need waders on the bike. But yeah. Have you got anything planned for the weekend or anything on the bikes? When's the next time you're out?
I may not get out on my bike for a month, so it's kind of crazy. So we've got this situation. We've got what I call a special needs dog who cannot be left alone at home by himself, cannot be put in a kennel. Don't get a dog. And my wife's she's been away. She was in Manchester. She was up in the Lake District working last week, and she's in Sardinia this week working. And she comes back on Saturday night, and there'd be a small window of opportunity for me to go out on Sunday because then on Monday I'm actually having to fly to New Zealand. and it looks like it's going to rain on Sunday. So we've also had this amazing weather for like a month, right? It's just been gorgeous sunshine for a month, and I've been out a couple of times, but I'm not going to be able to get out this weekend, and then I'm away for 2 weeks, and then she goes away again. Like, it could be a month before I'm out on the bike again. It's I need a gun for the dog, basically.
Nah, man, you'll get there. Like I say, sometimes I'll just go out, just even if it's for an hour. I'm like, well, I'm just going out there just for an hour. I'm gonna get out there.
Oh, it's sweet. Well, I look forward to it. Like, the weather's good now. I do try and ride through winter when it's not too cold. I can go down to about 5 degrees in Celsius, and that's quite comfortable on the bike. But there's ice and stuff on the road, and salt and stuff, and I try and avoid that. But it is now, the weather's much nicer, and everyone's getting out, and I'll be there, and in a month's time I'll be able to get out and do a bit of camping too, I hope.
Superb. Sounds like a plan. Right then, gents, I'm just going to roll through everybody who's been in the side chat quickly, just to say thank you. If I've missed anybody, if you can see anybody I've scrolled past, then give them a shout out. So we've had Tudge29, Andy Arup, John Pearl, Andy GSA Tractor, Howie 702, Backroad Tourist, John McPhee, Up North Biker, Pecos Paul, Exeter Rider, Away We Go, Kyman Go, Robert Munro as well popped in. GB Patriot as well come in. I did see him. John Pell, Pecos Paul, Paul Sparrow, Danny Daly even. Harry 702, don't know if I said to Harry already, but Harry 702. One thing I will say, if you guys are watching or looking at getting any audio off your Pack Talk or your centers on one file, on one camera, then have a look at Tudge29 or Harry 702. They've got literally a really simple, easy guide of how to get the audio onto one file, basically. So you can have one camera, but 2 audio files going into it, and the actual audio from the Pack Talk is, in my opinion, I'll look at this stuff a lot on YouTube. It's probably the best audio file, sounding audio I've heard by far. So just have a, if you want to start, recording the audio, the chats and all this lot, like, have a look at that, because it's quite easy to do. Obviously, you've got to buy a few bits and bobs, but the audio is probably the best audio I've seen on YouTube from it. John Gilbert as well. I think that was it. Right then, gents. Right then, Randy. I also want to thank Martin as well, and Angelo and Simon, mate. Genuinely, you're always welcome. If you've got a spare Wednesday and you fancy coming on for an hour, you're always welcome, mate. Genuinely, honestly, it's been absolutely fantastic having all 3 of you on. Honestly, I really do appreciate it. So yeah,
thanks for having me. I've subbed to both Simon and Martin, and I hadn't met their channels before, but yeah.
Sound. And if you sub to me, you need to sub to me.
Nah, you're shit.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
Thanks for the invite.
No. Honestly, lads, it's been absolutely fantastic. That hour's gone really fast. So, on genuinely, lads, thank you, and thank you to everybody in the side chat for taking the time out there Wednesday night, sitting here and listening to us for waffle for an hour. It has been a really interesting talk, to be honest. So thank you, and thank you to everybody in the side chat. yeah, really enjoyed it. And like I say, lads, you're always welcome. So as usual, if you can all stay safe, keep your family safe, and all do me one thing, which is smile. Come on, Martin, you know you want to. Look at him, he's dying not to. He broke in the end.
Love it.
Superb, lads. Really appreciate it. So until the next one, I'll see you all soon. All right. Take care, lads.
Cheers.
Take care. Bye bye.